Picture this. Your partner's promised to handle the bills this month, but they forgot again. Does that sound familiar? Lack of accountability is truly a silent relationship killer. It's like a slow leak in a boat. You might not notice it at first, but eventually you'll find yourself sinking. The cycle of disappointment and resentment can chip away even at the strongest relationships. So in this video, we're going to talk about the 5 key areas of accountability that can transform your relationship and how to start actioning them today. Accountability is like the invisible glue that holds relationships together. It's not just about keeping promises. It's about creating a sense of trust and reliability. So it's important to talk about the snowball effect of small irresponsibilities in relationships. Those little things that seem insignificant at first, like forgetting to take out the trash or canceling plans at the last minute. Those supposedly small things are not as harmless as they might appear. Think about it. Your partner promises to do the dishes, but they don't. No big deal, right? But then it happens again and again. And soon you're not just dealing with dirty dishes, you're dealing with a growing sense of frustration, disappointment, and even betrayal. These small instances of irresponsibility can lead to much bigger trust issues. You might find yourself thinking, if I can't rely on them for simple tasks, how can I trust them with big stuff? And this erosion of trust can create emotional distance between partners. It's not just about the undone chores or broken promises. It's about feeling unimportant, unheard, and undervalued. You might find yourself keeping score, bringing up past failures, or even questioning the future of the relationship. But here's where it gets really tricky. If you leave this unaddressed, these problems don't just stay the same, they grow. And before you know it, you're dealing with issues that seem insurmountable. The good news is that understanding this ripple effect is the first step in breaking the cycle. So now that we can understand how these small instances can snowball into major relationship issues, let's explore the 5 pillars of relationship accountability. These are key areas that, when strengthened, can transform your partnership from frustrating to flourishing. So the first pillar is personal responsibility. And this is about owning your actions and their consequences. So imagine a partner who constantly blames traffic for being late. It might seem harmless, but it creates a pattern of avoiding responsibility. On the flip side, when someone takes personal responsibility, it builds trust and respect. I didn't leave enough time for traffic, I'll plan better next time. This shift in mindset can be powerful. So it's important to lead by taking personal responsibility. This generates an environment of responsibility within the relationship. So try this. Next time something goes wrong, pause before explaining. Ask yourself, how did my actions contribute to this situation? The second pillar is mutual support. When this is missing, partners often feel like they're facing challenges alone. But when mutual support is strong, it creates a sense of teamwork. For example, instead of criticizing your partner for forgetting an important date, you could set up a shared calendar system. This approach turns a potential conflict into an opportunity for collaboration. A simple way to start is by asking your partner, how can I support you better this week? It's very simple but very effective. This way, you can both get on the same page. Open communication is the third pillar. Without it, assumptions and misunderstandings can run wild. With open communication, partners feel heard and understood. So it's not just about talking more, it's about communicating better. So instead of saying, you never listen to me, try, I feel unheard when I'm interrupted. Can we practice better listening skills together? This approach helps dramatically improve how you communicate. The fourth pillar is setting expectations. So when expectations are unclear or non-existent, resentment can build really, really quickly. So clear, realistic, manageable expectations create a sense of safety and respect in the relationship. So for example, if your partner often checks their phone during conversations, you might set an expectation, something along the lines of, hey, during our conversations, I kind of expected for us to be able to be like super present with each other and maybe put our phones away. That is something that I think would help our conversations a bit better. What do you think? So being able to place these expectations out there and making it an open dialogue, it means that you don't build resentment by having these unrealistic expectations without communicating them. The more you communicate your expectations, the more you'll be able to open a dialogue to hear your partner's feelings and be able to come up with a win-win solution for you both. And the fifth pillar is flexibility. So rigid expectations can suffocate a relationship, while flexibility allows it to breathe and grow. So this doesn't mean being a pushover. So if your partner prefers a different approach to managing finances, instead of insisting on your way, try to find a middle ground that works for both of you. And just before we move forward, if you're finding this useful so far and you do want more videos like this, then feel free to subscribe to my channel for new videos every single week. So how do you use these pillars to hold other people accountable? Well, first of all, it all starts with you. So this is where the personal responsibility pillar comes in. So this means that if someone hasn't done something that they said that they're going to do, or you want to speak to somebody about their actions and the impact that they've had, it's important that you don't ignore the problem. But it's also important that you are not taking on the problem yourself. Because if you're taking the problem on yourself after agreeing with somebody else, that is you being irresponsible. And you can't generate responsibility with irresponsibility. So don't take this problem on yourself unless it's absolutely urgent. It's life and death. In general, be okay with letting things fail sometimes. Sometimes we need things to fail in order to be able to find a better system. So if your partner has said that they're going to do something and it looks like it's not going to get done, be okay with letting it fail. Because there could be a chance that you're wrong and they're going to do it last minute. There could be a chance that they don't do it at all, but you don't know until you let it fail. And if the task fails, then that's a good thing. That means that you know that there's a flaw in the system. So if you and your partner have an arrangement, then trust them to do it. You've got to lead with trust. If you try to micromanage them, you're setting them up to fail. And that is you being irresponsible. Again, you can't generate responsibility by being irresponsible. So step 2 is if your partner has not done something that they said that they were going to do, or that they did something that you weren't expecting, then it's important to focus on the problem at the center of it, not the person. So if you want to hold your partner accountable, address the impact of their actions, but don't blame their character. If you make it you and your partner versus the problem, then it becomes a lot easier to get to the solution. Holding your partner accountable is not punishing them. They're not beneath you. They're not your child. If you see someone as beneath you and you treat them as beneath you, then you can't be surprised if they act like they're beneath you and they start allowing you to do all the stuff. So it's really crucial that you're seeing them as an equal and you're treating them as an equal. And then it becomes you and your partner versus the problem. Step 3 is to open the communication. So make sure that you don't avoid talking about the problem. This isn't going to go away by itself. It's really crucial to be able to actually address these. And again, this is about the problem, not about your partner and not about their character. So as an example, if you approach them saying, I need to talk to you about your laziness, then you've already started the conversation at a very low standard, right? You're talking about their character. So in this example, you're raising yourself up above them and you're saying, well, I'm not lazy, you're beneath me because you're lazy. You're already shifting the dynamics of the relationship, treating them like they're beneath you. However, if you approach the problem as something along the lines of, hey, I'd love to talk to you about the way that we do the trash, if you'd be okay with talking about it. This is approaching them in a soft way, and it's directly addressing the problem rather than the character. This is you and your partner versus the problem. Step 4 is to talk directly about the expectations that you had. If you feel like the outcomes are different to what you are expecting, then talk directly to that. But again, this isn't about your partner and their character. This is about the problem. So for example, you can say, I thought that we'd settled on the idea of you taking out the trash on Tuesdays, but it seems like it wasn't done yesterday. So maybe I misunderstood, or maybe I'm missing something, or maybe I missed it and the trash was done. I just want to hear your thoughts on it. In this way, you're bringing up your expectations, but you're not attacking your partner's character at the same time. And then once you've heard your partner's thoughts and your feelings and you've got down to the core of the problem, then you can propose a new solution with a bit more flexibility. There is not one way of doing things. So you have to cultivate a new solution that works to take into account all of the new data on why, for example, your partner didn't take out the trash. So you can say, maybe the way that we plan to do it isn't working that well. I've got some other potential ideas that could work, but I wanted to hear your thoughts. Like, what do you think could work in this situation? Because ultimately, you and your partner still want to get this trash out. Right? So finding out what went wrong in the system in order to get the outcome that you're both after. So by addressing the problem in this way, utilizing all 5 pillars, this means that you're able to get to a solution much faster and avoid any major misinterpretations or escalating things to a conflict. And building the skills to be able to cultivate compatibility should be done in a methodical step-by-step way. And if you want to learn how to do this, then sign up for my free Relationship Bootcamp, where you'll learn the same steps to start turning your relationship around. Click on the link in the description to reserve your place today. Implementing these pillars requires a shift in perspective. This shift in perspective needs to be about viewing challenges as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles for the relationship. So first of all, timing is everything. Choose a moment when you're both calm and have the mental space to engage in a meaningful conversation. So avoid bringing up accountability issues when you're already frustrated or in the middle of an argument. Instead, try saying something like, I've been thinking about the relationship and I'd love to talk about how we can support each other better. When do you think will be a good time for us to chat? Next, use empathetic language. This means focusing on your feelings and experiences rather than pointing fingers. So for example, instead of saying, you always forget to do the dishes, try, I feel overwhelmed when the dishes pile up. Can we figure out a system that works for us both? It's also really crucial to manage your own emotions before and during these conversations. So making sure that your own emotions are in check before you approach a conversation. This is going to help you stay calm and focused, even if things get a little bit tense. When you're having the conversation, frame it positively. Focus on growth and support rather than criticism. So instead of falling for the illusion of blame and past mistakes, talk about your shared goals for the future. You might say, I love how we both want to create a peaceful home environment. How can we work together to make that happen even more? Remember, accountability isn't about keeping score or proving who's right. It's about finding solutions together. So this is why it's crucial to approach accountability as a team effort. This isn't about you versus your partner. It's about you and your partner versus the problem. So for example, you might say, we're both kind of struggling to keep the house tidy. What ideas do you have for making this easier for both of us? There is no right way and there's no wrong way. There's only the way that works for both of you. It's not just about policing your partner, it's partnering up to face life's challenges together. And as we're building mutual accountability within the relationship, it can sometimes feel like things are feeling a little bit unbalanced. But there are a lot of misconceptions about equality in relationships. And if you want to learn more about that, then I'll leave you with this video right here, and I will see you over there.